Hello all, A Knife Tale here, bringing you a knife summary. And how is everybody doing today, just before we get started on that? What are we looking at? We're looking at the LTK Rezult. I say LTK, it's made by we, but LTK, Love Them Knives, is a YouTuber who designed this knife. Check out his channel. He has a bigger channel than me, you probably already know of him if you found me. But, still, shout out where it's due. This is a good knife. He makes some good content. Don't move exclusively over to him. Still watch my stuff. Yes, 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 yes. Please. No. What are we looking at here? This is a summary, first of all. So the full review is linked down below. And the too long didn't read is this is a good knife. This is a knife that I think was slept on a little bit more than it because it's just sort of plain standard, but it's really good. It is made by we. It is a button lock. We does the best button locks as far as I'm concerned. You got about 3.5 inches of blade. You got about 8 1/8 overall, though the pocket clip does stick out to about 8 1/4, so it's a little bit longer. The pocket clip is ultra deep carry, mounts from the back, right there, super easy, and it is ambidextrous, which, of course, the button lock accentuates. So, good. Good there. You've got a wonderful detent here. Even though it's a plunge lock, we does a fantastic job on these things. It feels like a detent, and it comes out, and it's snappy, and heck, even the reverse leg. Snappy. Very nice. I just did that off completely. That was off camera. There we go. What are we looking at? We're looking at 20CV. 20CV is a premium steel that is high edge retention, good corrosion resistance, not the greatest toughness. Unfortunately, most, if not almost all, Chinese companies are doing their 20CV at about 59 to 61 HRC. That's a bit low. You're not getting the full benefits of 20CV, and you're getting more negatives than probably... Like, you're gaining some toughness, I guess, but the amount that you're losing is probably more than you're gaining for this one. Some steels you can sort of take that range where you want more toughness, you want more retention, you can get in this HRC range and play around with that. M390 really excels when it's really heat treated well. Just figured I'd cover that. But because we has thinner blade stocks, thinner behind the edge, good geometry, I do think theirs, despite it being that 59 to 61, does perform pretty well compared to the other competition that's doing the same thing. Just geometry cuts. It's that simple. And they do a decent edge. This knife is on bearings. You have a flipper that disappears into the handle when open. Right there. That was very close and actually touched my finger when I opened that. You also have a fuller on both sides that works. I mean, the fuller is a little tight, but even for the thumb flick, it actually works. You've got G10 inlays, which are textured along with textured titanium. Two different textures that feel really good. Like this it feels very nice. It's not contoured scales, but they are titanium. They are heavily chamfered and rounded on the edges. It's super comfortable. It's plain. It's not overly extravagant, but it's really nice. And honestly, at this price point, which these things came in at around... Hold on one second. And we're back. It was just a moment for you, but it was a couple minutes for me. I wanted to double check. Originally, I think these things came in around $240. Though I still feel like they came in closer to $230. But there are still some available, even though this was a very limited run, and there's only two variants. One of the variants is still available at like $170, which is a really good buy. Maybe they were $240, but they were frequently on sale or something like that, and I think I got mine for like $215. Either way, it's really good, and I think they were slept on a little bit. There hasn't been more runs of them. Even the original run didn't sell out, but they were White Mountain Knives exclusive, collab, we and LTK. I think this knife is really good, especially for the price. You're getting... I mean, you can definitely get your standard, basic, just plain titanium frame locks at that $200 price point. But this one's a button lock, and it's a collab, which automatically adds a little bit of more money to it, and it's doing a few extra things, right? It's not super, super high end, but it's definitely justifying its price as far as I'm concerned. I mean, big, thick titanium slabs for the handle. These are not milled out either. Yet it's not overly heavy. It's long, slender, it's really comfortable. This is a really good knife, and it shows that a lot of things were thought out here, right? Like, you have the disappearing flipper tab, you have, despite this tight-looking thing, fuller, it still somehow works. Yeah, it's a little tight, but... Okay, I was literally just doing it, but yeah, there we go. It works. The whole thing works, unless you have stupid fingers. The plunge grind could be a little bit better. It definitely ends, like, too close to the edge, especially when you have all this room to go, but you can always cut in more sharpening choil and everything, because the stop pin's way up here, and a flipper tab knife sort of protects you against any of those issues. But it's got a lot of things thought out well. Overall design is good. I mean, you've got the extra deep carry clip, you've got a hidden lanyard pin, great great function for this plunge button lock. is definitely the ones to go with if you're considering having one of those knives made, because in my opinion, they do the best. It feels like there's a D10, as I already said, and it's good. That's sort of what this knife is. It just feels nice. It's just nice. It definitely wants to be a user. It definitely wants to be a workhorse. It's not some super fancy, crazy knife, but it's definitely something you could carry and use regularly. The tip access is so-so. That's just sort of what happens when you have this much belly out front, but you can still get to it. Not too bad. I guess that's a weak point. It's clip point blade shape. The whole thing is kind of monochrome. You've got this blasted finish, which is not bad. Sort of a blasted wash, acid wash almost. Is it an acid wash? It's probably an acid wash. This is a good knife. I recommend this knife. There are still some of the ones with the green inlays available. None of these ones left. And I don't know how many are still available. But it's definitely a knife that, aside from my stupid fingers all of a sudden, gives you some of that higher end execution without being so egregiously priced, because it's not trying to be fancy. But it's a good knife. I like it. I recommend it. That's pretty much everything for the little summary recap of what this knife is and what it's doing. That will end it for me here. So I will thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.